Alright, cyber friends, Midi Man coming back at you from Walker's Music with yet another word for the day. We give God the glory and all the praise for life, health, and strength for as well as it is. Give Him all the glory. We want to thank the YouTube gang, Baby Justice, all the way to Big Papa JT as well as Mama JT. As we always say, we love you and there ain't too much you can do about it. We also want to give a shout out to the End Time Harvest Gang, Brother L.A. from Kingdom Knowledge, Elder Michael McCray, Elect Sister 777, Lady D, Sister Kate, Sister Linda, and Leonard, also Sister Ira, Grace Truth Teacher, TJ, everyone, Vaughn, everybody that makes up the whole entire gang, Brother JT, Papa JT, Brother PP Drawing, Brother Hardencliff, all our compadres. We just want to say we count it a privilege and an honor to be able to come before you on to use the media and the technology that is available to us, that all of it comes from our Father in heaven, that it gave us this technology to use wisely. And I know that there are a lot of people use it for different things, but nevertheless, we cannot control other people's PCs, but we can control what we use. Midi Man want to come back. I've been noticing a lot of things lately, and as I spoke earlier, that Midi Man blog talk radio show broadcast Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, dealing with end time events. I don't have no special topic, but it's just all about end time harvest. I don't, like I said, we got to stop whistling Dixie and tiptoeing through the roses and everything and trying to pick and choose what the main thought need to be now. It's about end time events and about how to get people into the kingdom of God. I was listening to interviews, and I've been listening to various videos about from various individuals in the music industry, some that I esteem high. I really give them a great accolade, in other words, for their knowledge, because of the fact that they are in the industry and they should know. They know a little bit more than Midi Man, but Midi Man has not worked in the big quote-unquote corporations. I was listening to Karis One just yesterday, and he had a video about an hour and a half long, but it was fully packed with a lot of information. Also, Professor Griff from Public Enemy. I know y'all know a little about Professor Griff, Chuck D, and the guys are really on point on a lot of hot subjects, and that's what Midi Man want to talk about today and this morning. We learn what we live. In other words, we got certain issues of life, certain things that have been a reality among us for many years, and people, like I say, you know, you can just pick a subject. For instance, racism been around for a long time, and it's not only black against white, white against black. You got racism across the board. You got racism with the Japanese and the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? You got racism from the Jews and the Arabs. You got racism point blank, period. When one ethnic group feels that they are superior to another. In other words, you get people like the Nazi Party during the Hitler reign, when you feel that you got people when you feel that you have become superior in any form or fashion. That's why Midi Man say we learn what we live, and I'm gonna prove it to you. A child, and this is what I say, that if we ever gonna get rid of racism, I feel there's only one way to do it. It might be many ways, but this is just Midi Man's version. First of all, we got to stop it at the source. In other words, the next generation that comes on behind. How do a child know anything about racism except he be taught? He or she be taught. They have to be taught. In other words, somebody got to pass it on. So what? How do we stop our racism? Us, the ones that are ahead of the next generation. We stop talking about it. We stop teaching it. That's one way that'll kill it, just like that. If we get rid of all that, well, you know what they did, or what they done, or what this one did, or what this one done. If we could ever get rid of that, passing it down to the next generation, it will have to go out. A child is not born racist, black or white, polka dot. They are not born racist. They are taught it. So if we, as the one that are carrying the torch, if we would put it out, the flame would never go on any further. What? Child learn what he lives. So, in other words, what you hear continuously, you begin to believe. So if we want to make a better generation, you know, you know, a lot of times it's not just black or white. This thing is this thing is rainbow. It's go for all people. We must stop the ignorance. We must stop the ignorance. We must stop teaching it, passing it on to the next generation. That's the only way you're going to put it out. So in other words, you tell little Johnny, you stupid, you stupid, you stupid. You keep telling little Johnny that he's never going to be anything. You keep telling little Johnny and little Sue that they're never going to be anything. Well, what happened? They began to believe it. They began to act it out. Little Johnny began to sell drugs. Little Johnny go get him a 9mm. He started killing people. Then you got another massacre like you had out there in Colorado. Little Susie, she began to believe. She got low self-esteem because you done told her she's never going to be anything. So the first somebody come by and say they love her, she believes it. Now she's a porn star. Only way she can find love is through that mechanism. Why? Because they have been told. And what you hear continuously over and over, you will begin to believe it. So what? We can speak life into our young people. We can speak life into any individual. Just like you can speak the negative. Speak positive into people's lives. In other words, tell them that they can be anything that they want to be. And really, in the reality, people, it is the truth. You can be whatever you want to be. We need to stop blaming and making excuses for others, that other people got us the way we are. No. I understand, yes, there were a time. Like I said, I don't want to contradict myself, because I said we must stop talking about the past in order to put it out and to move forward. We study history. Yes, we do. Why do we study history? Miniman's version. We study history, in my opinion, to avoid making the same mistakes that we made in the past. That's why I feel that we need to study history to know where we come from and know how things were done in the past, and to make certain that we capitalize on the good. And then what we do away with the negative. We try not to repeat the negative. We had a civil war in this country back in the 1800s. What do? We try not to do that again. We try to avoid that incident again. Well, you got a lot of people who will say that civil war was all about slavery. Nonsense. That civil war wasn't only, yes, it was a little bit involved, but it wasn't only about slavery. Slavery was a very minute part of that, for having that war. And I'm not going to go into a history lesson with no one on that. What I'm saying, Miniman is saying, if we're going to have a better day, if we're going to bring about change, our President Barack Obama, his platform was all about change. I don't think people were listening. But his platform, when he first ran, was all about time for change. So, if we're going to have this change, I mean real change, we're going to have to put out the torch. The negativeness, we're going to have to put that flame out. We can no longer teach our kids about how the white man did, or how the black man done, or how the Jew did, or how the Japanese done, or what. We got to stop all the negativeness. And then we must instill into our younger generation, the one coming on behind us, look, this is the way we need to do things. This is your brother. This is your sister. Do the words of Christ. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If we could just take that principle alone, especially with the very, very first one, loving the Lord our God. You see, people, we cannot love God. If we say we love God and we hate each other, we are lying. The truth is not in us. We must first love each other. And then once we love each other, then we can love God. You couldn't tell me you love God and you will see me every day and rolling your eyes and talking about me derogatory to everybody you meet, and then turn around in that same breath and say you love God, you are a lie, and the truth is not in you. This jealousy and this envy, all of that will cease if we would just learn those basic principles, those two, the golden rule we call, love thy neighbor as thyself. This and only this, people. Once we can shut our mouth with the negativeness, passing it on to the younger generation, racism, along with a whole lot of other stuff that's going on in our world, is never going to change. We must make the change. Remember the man in the mirror. Start with yourself. In other words, each day, many men need to look in the mirror and say, what can I do? In other words, stop worrying about what other folks can do, but what can I do to make a change? Starting with me in my community. Stop worrying about the masses so much. We want a big ministry. We want a worldwide ministry. We want a national ministry when we won't even do things in our own household. You want a national ministry, and can't nobody get you to wash a sink full of dirty dishes. What kind of ministry are you going to have? You can't even conquer yourself and get yourself to do a sink full of dirty dishes. But yet and still we want a big ministry. Start where you are. I think this is very safe to say. Start where you are. You make a change. You find out what you can do. Don't worry about middleman, but you worry about self. Find out what that you can do to make a change. Start in your community. Start in your neighborhood. Start in your household. Take somebody find somebody that you can help and help them, and then let that spread like wildfire. In other words, like King said, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain. In other words, let you start where you are. Let us stop poking fun, and let us stop pointing fingers and judging one another. But let somebody start. In other words, you start putting out racism by the way you act and the way you treat other people that are not black, or other people that are not white, other people that are not Jew, Gentile, whatever. You start. Don't worry about the next fella, but you do what you're supposed to do. You start putting out the flames of racism, and then let it spread like wildfire. Only then, people, we might be able to see a change. But like I say, middleman gonna go and end this video. It's gonna got too long. But we learn exactly what we live, and what we continuously to hear over and over, we begin to believe that negative and positive about ourselves, and we'll act it out. With that being said, middleman saying, whatever you get into, if God is not in it, it's best that you come on out of it. This is middleman saying peace and goodbye.